Pray. No, not that pray. And welcome to the Ruben Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my movie review for Netflix's original film, Prey. This is a non-spoiler review. Leave me a comment down below. What is your favorite type of hunter movie? Do you have a one that stands out to you? I'd love to know. Maybe there's something in my list that I haven't seen yet that I could stand to go and watch. Let's jump in. A hiking trip into the wild turns into a desperate bid for survival for 5 friends on the run from a mysterious shooter. What to say about this film? Okay, here we go. Cinematography-wise, it's fine. Acting-wise, it's fine. The story is basic. This film really left me feeling meh at the end, because I've seen this film done 1,000 times better, but I've also seen it done 1,000 times worse. It's literally just in like the middle. It's generic movie that you can stick on the background. I had hopes that it might be kind of better than what we got. It doesn't outstay its welcome, but by the time it finishes, I was glad it ended. What the actors have with the dialogue they're given, I think they do fairly well. Although I have to question some of the decisions made by characters. It seems like prerequisite for characters in certain situations like this. You just wish they would do something else or make the better decision in order to survive. And that is one of the things. In order to keep your 5 main protagonists in peril, they have to keep making bad decisions sometimes. Eventually, you would think that if these people were real and they're in the real world, they would end up working together and actually figuring out a way to defeat their opponent, especially as it's one. There are ways they could have done what they happened in their situation. So you're putting that all aside, you have an air of disbelievability in this film, and you go, okay, so that's what this film is. It's the core premise. The mildly interesting thing about this film is kind of what some of the characters have experienced in their life together. There's a kind of a side story that goes along with these characters in minor character development building moments. So there's flashbacks, not many of them, and they kind of give us an inkling as to what has happened in our characters' lives a little. And that builds a story that goes along the hunting story. And I almost found that story more intriguing. The acting around that I thought was shaped quite nicely. I didn't want flashbacks. I wanted the film to be one or the other. So if this film had just stuck onto our main characters, no flashbacks, shaved off some of that pacing with the flashbacks that they had, I think the pacing would have been better. You would have been guessing as to what's going on with these characters. It might have done something unique by just placing us totally in the zone and us having to figure out what's gone. Don't give us any character development, because you gave us little character development in the end, not enough to make us really care for the characters. For me, I cared more about the shooter in the end than I did any of the main characters. And so that gives you an idea where this film goes. It's an interesting dynamic, and I liked some of the shots, and some of them were tense and some of them made me sit up. But for the most part, I can definitely say that I probably will never watch this film again. I have seen so many like this. You could list, probably 50 before you would say that this film is as good as those 50. And so this is all basically about a hunt that is shown through a series of shots where people are walking in the woods. And that's a very large majority of this film. Various shots, close-up, wide shots, with tension music to build the atmosphere that they are trying to go for. And in the end, it just shows its weakness. It shows the plot and the inconsistencies of what characters would actually do. It left me feeling meh. I don't hate the film, but I don't think it's great. So I'm going to give this a C-. Okay, so that's our review. Now we get to that part in the review where we're talking about the ending. So I'm going to try and explain the ending in case you didn't get it. I think most of it is pretty self-explanatory, but there might be moments that you missed. So hopefully you find this informative. This is your place down in the comments below to leave your kind of spoiler thoughts. Don't forget to remember to put the word spoilers if you're going to talk about spoilers, so you don't spoil it for other people. Let's jump in. Like I say, Eva, EVA, is our main protagonist shooter here. And she is the reason why these guys are having to run for their lives. It is a stag do, as we find out during the film. But once the story revolves itself around the guys a bit more, we get a little inkling as to why Eva is hunting these 5 men. And we see a little clip, a video clip of these 2 drunk guys with their hunting hunting rifle, walk up to, it looks like they were going to start some nonsense with Eva and her daughter, and there's a little scuffle, and we see that shot and the daughter dies, and there's what I presume is a psychotic break, a moment when your child dies. I imagine that to be something horrific that most people won't be able to handle, and you can totally understand why she kind of goes off the rails. Once we see the little bits of information that we get from newspaper clippings and around her house, we start seeing really into the psyche of Eva. So we see the falconer. She's become a falconer, and there's a newspaper clipping of her, well, saying that there's breeding new life into the falconer. Obviously that didn't work out. It seems like all the houses around the places are degraded, so there was no money being poured into, probably because she lost her daughter and she was unable to keep it running because she went into a massive depressing and hate build up inside her. That's what we are getting from this story. You kind of have to put the puzzle pieces a little bit together yourself. And so she escalates her hunting. She's used the falconer as like what she was hunting with, and now she's escalated to hunting men. And we can see by the way she hunts them, she toys with her prey, hence the title of the film. And she also lets them go. So at one stage she captures some of them and allows them to run so she can continue to hunt them. Once our main protagonist, I guess one of the only really good guys in the film, gets hold of the rifle and chucks it away, she decides then to throw herself off of the edge of the cliff and kill herself. Obviously, she's done what she can to what she feels like, as I imagine in the psyche of her mind, avenging her child somewhat, taking out the dangerous men. She must see all men that are what we presume of probably either a stag do again, drunk and doing stupid things, holding a weapon, and she wants to stop it from ever happening again, as well as feels like she's done something. As a parent myself, I can imagine that you want to be able to do something to stop this from happening, and something to stop you from feeling what you're feeling. And so that is probably part of the build, the makeup of how she is now, why she is this basically a serial killer, because she's hunting these guys. And so at that moment where she gets the unicorn from our main protagonist, she sees it, it kind of thrusts, I imagine, something in her mind. It kind of brings her to reality of what she's done, doesn't want to live in the world anymore, and steps off that edge. Whether the brother is still alive, we don't know. I doubt we'll ever get a sequel to this, but you can make up your own mind as to whether the brother survived. They both have gunshots. One is in the shoulder, one is in the leg. It didn't look like it hit the femoral artery there, so I imagine that they would survive. I doubt the relationship is going to survive. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the ending and this film in the whole. Were there other moments that you understood what was happening? Did you feel for Eva? I think I cared more about her storyline than any of the guys. But I think that's probably the way the film is trying to get you to sympathize with the killer, which is a clever thing to do. Probably the best thing about the film. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this film, and which ones you think are better in this genre of film. Like I said, thought the acting was fine, cinematography was okay, story very weak. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.